I think the Game Landers comparison is absolutely perfect because every time you look at the stats, MW's plus 30 and the rest of the team don't have thumbs. So it's exactly the same. This might be an effect of the fact that the Brazilian scene is stagnating because they can't get proper scrims throughout the... There are no reasons to be excited about MIBR.
Já pensou em ter acesso a diversos cursos feitos por pessoas que manjam do jogo? A Neverest tem cursos produzidos por grandes personalidades do cenário especialmente para você, além de aulas específicas para cada agente, para você aprender tudo sobre o seu main em todos os mapas, tanto no ataque quanto na defesa. E ainda tem uma ferramenta que mostra pixels do seu agente favorito em todos os mapas, de maneira bastante simplificada. E você também tem direito a uma análise de POV mensal feita por um coach profissional para ver se você aprendeu tudo certinho. Tudo isso e muito mais você encontra na Neverest. Usando o cupom SMOKEMID15 você tem 15% de desconto, o link vai estar aqui na descrição. Fala galera, tudo bem com vocês? Durante o último episódio do Plat Chat, que contou com a presença do FNS, eles fizeram um Power Ranking com todos os times que irão disputar o VCT Américas, e acabou ficando dessa maneira que vocês estão vendo aí na tela. Mas e aí, o que achou? Concorda? Deixa aí nos comentários, pois ao decorrer do programa eles também debateram e analisaram o time do MIBR e da FURIA para a próxima temporada, saca só?
I mean, Pancata, theoretically, depending on what happens with any of the three Brazilian teams, Pancata, you know, a juicy prospect. Furia made a couple changes in the offseason. Digizine, who was wild on Duelist last year, no longer with the team for, you know, reasons outside of the actual gameplay as far as I know and has been reported. And then Havoc, who was like a hot prospect that a bunch of teams were trying out, has ended up joining with Fury as well. We've seen the play in the offseason. MW's playing Duelist, and he was going pretty fucking crazy. It was giving me the flashbacks to Game Landers in 2020. So, you know, some potential here with Furia. Last year, they had that run at the beginning of the season where everybody felt like, you know, by everybody, I mean, you guys overrated them when I wasn't on, and then they fell off. So yeah. That happened. Feeling more confident or less confident about Furia this year than previously, or just pretty much at the exact same level? What are you thinking, Josh?
I think the Game Landers comparison is absolutely perfect because every time you look at the stats, MW's plus 30 and the rest of the team don't have thumbs. So it's exactly the same as when MW was playing Duelist for his previous teams. It's something to do with the way that MW plays and the rosters that he finds himself on, where he has such a... I don't know, I think he forces the team to play around him to such a high degree that no one else can manage to find their value when they play with this guy on Duelist. It's nuts to watch because I know that Khalil is extremely talented and I know that Havoc is extremely talented. The others I'm not as sure about, but like they should not be going, you know, -20 during their BO3s while MW just is the only person getting any kills. They should be able to figure out a more balanced system. It looks like MW kills everybody and the rest of them are just running around lost in some of these games when you watch them. So it's really unusual what you get because it really is. It's just a bit bizarre watching them.
I do think, I mean, I don't really have the inside information, but when I look at this team, I keep thinking the same thing. It's MW putting together the team, and it just hasn't really worked to his favor in the past, despite, you know, looking insane himself. With that being said, like, I'm not using the offseason to really even infer anything, because I think those games, they ended up having what, like some food poisoning at that India event and whatever, like, and it was also like them working on their coach for a few weeks or whatever. With that being said, I hate how the team has been put together. I just do. Like I just
that was honest.
It doesn't inspire any confidence because I don't think, like, other than Havoc, like, it just seems that they're going back to playing with some of the people that they liked before, and that's the deal with MW over and over and over.
I mean, Liazzi's new though, right? Liazzi was previously playing for, like, I don't know. I didn't see this guy very much.
Havon Liberty way back in the day.
Oh shit! I forgot about it.
He went to Masters Berlin,
Oh man, I'd forgotten he even existed.
He's,
I
he's-
thought
that's what I'm
Liberty
saying.
was-
He's in those circles. It's always people. It's
Yeah,
always in the
it's that same
fucking
group. And then
mid-tier Brazilian team circles that MW consistently is just floating around.
yeah, and then they have Conan playing, who was on the bench and then played in the playoffs last year. So it's
By the
a
way, this
large
might
shift.
this might be an effect of the fact that the Brazilian scene is stagnating because they can't get proper scrims throughout the entirety of the year because all of their good players have just moved to LA. So you know, it's not like I'm not an expert, but I don't know how many good up and coming Brazilian players there really are aside from the people that were on the union, and like half of them are
Shouldn't be
not going to be
anywhere
allowed to
near the league.
participate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, half of them have got felonies.
So, I mean, it's true. And
It's
they
true,
shouldn't
it's
be in the
just
league.
true.
It's literally a fact. This is the one team. I mean, you mentioned the Pancata thing from. This is the team though where you could just plug and play Pancata if shit's going wrong because he is just an upgrade to Liazzi. I think if there's any team that Pancata ends up on throughout the season, I think it would be Furia. I don't know if it would be necessarily the best home with how things are run, which you guys are alluding to, but it would be
It
a
might be
straight
the only
easy
home,
one for
bro.
one upgrade. Yeah. All right, let's keep it pushing. MIBR. Any y'all got anything? That was the end. I don't really know where to take this one. Y'all got anything?
All Brazilians are perfect. They do nothing wrong.
There are no reasons to be excited about MIBR.
That's
There are no reasons. I mean, they have
You can't think of
gone
one?
from an IGL that was clearly not going to bring them results to just cycling another IGL that is very unlikely to bring them results. The way that this team has been playing when we've seen them recently has been fairly lost. They don't seem to have too much synergy with each other. The roster doesn't have as much firepower as some of the others, although it's not horrendous. It just loses out to basically every other roster when you're comparing it on paper. So that means that the value has to come from a lot of other places, and I think that's going to be a serious issue because as good as Fraud and Bazooka have made teams in the past, I think they're working with a difficult job here.
I'll give you one reason. I think the stuff coming out of their camp at the end of the year where Heat is not even playing because they have disagreements on the play style or whatever, I think that's a great thing to get rid of in terms of environment for the team. And so that combined with Fraud, I think is something that I'm now seeing now I'm excited to see whether or not the players are going to be able to use that to their advantage and play to whatever goals that they actually have, right? I've spoken to a couple of them and they seemed like really motivated to show that they actually have the ability to whatever. And that combination of like work ethic could work with Fraud and without any blockers in the way, which Heat supposedly was last.
To be fair, like that is a massive factor, like more than people would think. Like when you're on a team and a player just isn't buying in, you're basically just it's a sinking ship.
And last year they had no tools to deal with that situation, so they're left with playing with that for the entirety. Sometimes there was like glimpses of hope, like during the regular season they had like a decent start despite like mostly losing. They beat you guys, NRG, and that was like the peak of it. And I think that peak was exciting. That peak was good enough to maybe do something in terms of like maybe going to playoffs and whatnot. But beyond, like if the blockage within the team was enough for that not to happen ever, then yeah, all of a sudden you don't have that anymore, and it might be something decent here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more JZZ. He was really good last season. I think he could and should be the breakout player of the team this year, and hopefully they're able to put some serious structure around him. I think the team has a good structure in regard to the management of the roster with the coaching staff, all that. I do think there's more potential than last year for sure. Maybe it's hard to believe it'll be more significant than maybe getting up towards the mid-table this year instead of being at the bottom of the table. But that wouldn't be too bad, all things considered. I think that would be a perfectly fine result for them.
They're going to have to rely on
this year,
Arts and
but
JZZ a lot, I think,
yeah,
in order to be getting their wins.
yeah. Okay.
Pois é, rapaziada, o vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Deixa sua opinião sobre tudo isso aí nos comentários. Aquele abraço, até o próximo vídeo.